Hi guys, hope everyone's well, hope everything's good. So let's get into it. So today I'm going to show you how to find your tax legislation. Yes, I know it looks very tricky, but it's not. It's very simple. ABC, then we're done. So you're going to need two things. Well, not two, more than two. You're going to need your legislation, obviously. You're going to need your income tax, your South African income tax textbook. You're going to need highlighters. You're going to need these. You're going to need your flags. Mine are almost finished, but you're going to need your flags. You're also going to need a red pen and a red highlighter. So make sure these are there, because these are very important. These are for your exceptions, for things that you have to note. Right? Yes, cool. So this is everything you need. So let's start with your legislation. So you're going to take your legislation, right? So the way that I flag my legislation is that at the top, it's the South African natural persons framework. So where exactly do you find this framework? Where does this framework come from? So you're going to go to chapter 6 in your textbook. Chapter 6 is, no, chapter 7, sorry. Chapter 7, ooh, chapter 6 is general deductions. Chapter 7 is natural persons. When you go to chapter 7, let me just open it. I don't know where it would be, in which page it would be, but here it was in 157, so it's in topic 7.1, right? So it's just one page after the first chapter, so it shouldn't be that difficult to find. Here it is. This is your natural persons framework. There it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to name our things based on everything that appears here. So all the titles, so all the lines that appear on that framework. So if something says gross income, exempt income, deductions, assessed loss, other incomes included in taxable income, section 8.1, or taxable CGT, section 11F, section 11A, taxable income, section 18A, sorry, and then taxable income, and then rebates and everything like that. So you're going to name your legislation based on that. So I used that framework and I named every single line item there. So one thing you should know is obviously gross, yeah, so we'll do that later. So that's what I did, number one. Then number two, right, we are going to start flagging. So when we flag, remember there are two rules from, well, not two rules, there are more than two. I don't know why I like saying two, but there are more than two rules when it comes to SAICA flagging. So with your flags, the only things that are allowed to be on top of the flag is the name of the section. So by name of section, it means that with section 11, right, you have general deductions allowed in determination of taxable income. That means that that is the only thing that is allowed on top of that flag. You cannot put anything else. So you can either put the name of the section or the section number. You can go and write section 11, or you can write general deductions allowed in determination of taxable income. That's the only things that you're allowed to write on your flag, right? You are not allowed to abbreviate. You're not allowed to write another name. You're not allowed to sort of write something that is also not on that page. So you write, if it's in bold, if it's in black, it's the name of a section or it's a number of a section, you can write it on it. Number two, you see how this is your flag, right? This is your flag. Then you write your flag here, you name your flag here. The part that goes inside the tax legislation, you're not supposed to have anything on it. So the part that is closed, so okay, I'm gonna remember. So you see how this is on the outside, right? On the inside, for example, if we open here, it's not supposed to have anything. It's supposed to be blank. You should not have anything on there. It should be blank. So you see how if I open this one for variable consideration, it's blank. It's blank. You're not allowed to write anything on the inside of that flag. The part that goes inside your tax legislation, you're not allowed to write anything. You write everything on the outside. Does that make sense? Yes, cool. Yeah. So that is a part that talks about the flagging. Then, so we did the top part, and then now we're doing this part. So the way that I flagged the right side of my legislation is, first of all, I flagged it in order. So by that I mean that I opened my legislation. Let's open it. And I opened this page that has all the text things, right? And I named my flags according to whatever appears here. And I named them in order so that my flags are not all over the place. So I went in order of that, and I put that flag, that flag, that flag, that flag right after the other. And then I put them like this. Obviously here, this is a different, they're not in order because there's a specific reason for that. But that is why, right? Another rule when it comes to flagging is you are not allowed to write definitions on your flags. I know that your definitions are in bold, right? Your definitions are in bold, and you're going to be like, oh, I want to write it because it's in bold. You're not allowed to, because it's not a name of a section, right? It's not a name of a section. It's not a section number. You are not allowed to write it on the flag. However, something that we were sort of taught is you can use symbols that you can understand. So for example, with gross income is here. Gross income. Is gross income? Okay, yes, gross income. With gross income, you want to know exactly what it is that goes inside gross income. So you can put a dot. You put a dot. That's the dot. You put the dot. See that dot? You put the dot for gross income. That's technically the only definition that you will need to actually have a symbol on, because all the other definitions are not like that important that you're going to have to sort of page through all the time. But even if you have to page through to them, like for example resident, you know where to find it. You can go alphabetical order, and then you can go and then you can do your discussion question, or like do your calculation of whether that person is a resident, not a resident, blah 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 blah. So cool, that is how we did the Income Tax Act. Then I'm going to show you these rules that I have here, where I said that obviously there are exceptions. So you can see that this part, these ones, 12E, 12B, 12C, and section 11 are not in order. Why is that? So you know when we're doing general deductions, there is a specific order of preference. Sorry, there's a specific order of preference that the taxpayer might enjoy or the taxpayer might want. So I wrote them like that so that I can know that, okay, this, and then section 11 is my catch-all, right? If that person does not get all the deductions here, chances are that deduction, you're going to find it in section 11, because obviously these have like specific rules that are different from section 11. So yeah, that is the only difference with naming all the other ones. Cool. So normally what people do is they name their stuff in different colors, or like however it is that they want. That is cool. That is something that you would like to do. That is cool. I did not take when I was doing colors. I just did whatever it is that I wanted. Yeah, and that is how I did my Income Tax Act. So watch more videos on VAT. I'm gonna do the VAT Act next, and I'm gonna do like the schedules. Bye. Oh wait, no, I'm not done. Highlighting. So when it comes to highlighting is specific to you and specific to what you want to do. So what I do with highlighting is I highlight parts that I need to discuss in the exam. So we see how with gross income has that long definition. It's a long definition, but like the first part of it, the first part of my gross income definition, you know what, I'm not going to show you, you know exactly what is in your legislation. It says in the case of a resident, the total amount in cash or otherwise received by or accrued to in favor of such a resident. So I highlight resident, in cash or otherwise received by or accrued to, and I do not highlight them as one. I highlight them two, so that I know that if they say discuss whether that should be included in that person's gross income, then I go, are they a resident or are they a non-resident? Is it cash or is it otherwise? did they receive it or did it accrue to? And then I discuss every single part of that question. And then I also highlighted during such year or period of assessment, excluding, including, like discuss them separate of each other. So that's what I did. And I used the red and my red pen and my red highlighter for every single part where it says this is an exception, excluding, including, subsequent, notwithstanding. You know that one is important. You know now. Contrary to any other section of this act, or yeah. So I think that is everything. And for my flags, I used this pen. I hope you can see it. Use this pen. Use this pen. Can you see this pen? I don't know. Yes, this is the pen that I used for it.